Hey my dudes, my name is Cecilia and welcome to my kitchen here in Stockholm, Sweden. This week we are making Chokladbiskvier. So first of all, what did I just say? So choklad, chocolate, biskvier. Biskvi literally translates into biscuit. Basically, they're just a chewy almond cookie on the bottom. There's chocolate buttercream in the middle, and then the whole thing gets dipped in dark chocolate, and it's delicious. Like, you don't need to know what it is. It's just tasty. You're gonna love it. So let's just go make them.
Start with the almond cookies. Into a bowl goes 200 grams of almond flour, 200 grams of powdered sugar, and 120 grams of egg whites. Mix until totally combined. Make sure you have no dry spots. Take 2 baking trays and line them with parchment. Using a small cookie scoop, scoop the batter onto the trays. If you do not have a scoop, just use a couple spoons. Also, these cookies really spread in the oven, so make sure they're fairly far apart. I did 12 on each tray. Dip your finger in water and smooth out the cookies as needed. You can skip this step, but I like to make them nice and round before they go in the oven. Bake at 190 degrees Celsius until they are golden brown, about 15 to 20 minutes. As soon as they come out of the oven, slide them off the tray to cool. Bake off the second tray. When they're both out of the oven, peel the cookies off the parchment and press them down just slightly so that they're flat. We will be putting the buttercream on what was the bottom, so the top needs to be flattened slightly. Put those to the side. To make the buttercream, begin by pouring 195 grams of sugar and 55 grams of water into a small pot and place it on the stove. Into the bowl of your stand mixer, pour 100 grams of egg whites. Melt 110 grams of dark chocolate and have 45 grams of sugar ready. And don't forget your trusty instant read thermometer. Begin by heating the sugar and water up on the stove. Boil until it is 110 degrees Celsius, and then begin whipping your egg whites. Add in the 45 grams of sugar. Once the syrup is at 120 degrees Celsius, begin to pour into your whipping egg whites. Pour in a slow and steady stream. Whip the meringue until it is no longer hot. Once it is just warm, you can begin adding the butter tablespoon by tablespoon. Make sure the butter is fully incorporated before adding in another tablespoon. Let whip until fully cool. Pour in the melted chocolate and season with salt as you'd like.
It's so nice. Oh my God. It does get a little streaky, so you kind of have to like get underneath it with your spatula and just kind of stir it around a little bit. It's so beautiful. Look at that. Woo! Ooh! Okay, goodbye, Kenny the Kenwood. Say hey do today to the people. Big scoopy boy. And I had a tray. We'll just reuse this parchment. Now this isn't gonna go in the oven again, so you can just flip this upside down. I'm using this tray because I know it fits in my refrigerator, and you really need to chill these down before we dip them in chocolate. So make sure you're putting them on a plate or a tray that is flat and that can go in the fridge.
Top each cookie with a large scoop of buttercream.
Now, as always, there's 1,000 ways to skin a cat. This is how I do it, and it turns out looking pretty cute. You can just use like 2 tablespoons. You don't need to use the scooper guy. I just like the scooper guy because then I know that they're like all even in size-ish, and it helps me get a more even triangle. So I just take my mini offset, and I'm just trying to kind of like go off of the edge of the cookie like that. And I just kind of shoop down until I make like a, well, it's not a pyramid. What is this shape? Cone. It's a cone. I know my shapes. Oh my goodness. And they can be as peaky or as flat as you like. I try to get mine to just be as cone shaped and even all around as possible without like making myself mental. And then back on the tray. And then you just go ahead and you do that with all of them. And the good thing is if you absolutely hate it and you think this is looking really ugly, it's really forgiving. You just slam some more on there and reshape. Boom, and we're done. Now you will have some buttercream left over, but I always feel like it's better to have too much than too little, so that's why the recipe is made that way. These need to go in the fridge for at least half an hour before we can dip them in chocolate. While they're chilling in the fridge, I have quickly tempered some dark chocolate. This is 80% chocolate. You guys know, of course, I get it from Choco. This is a Danish company that specializes in single varietal chocolates. Today's varietal is Mayan Red, and I use this 80% both in the buttercream as well as for the topping. Now, you could use just regular melted chocolate, but then you have to make sure that the biscuits are always in the fridge and that you eat them from the fridge. If you go ahead and temper your chocolate and dip them in that, then they can like sit outside and they won't get your fingers all sticky. If you just want to skip it, it's fine with just melted chocolate. Just make sure to keep them in the fridge.
Editor Cecilia here. I shot a video on how to temper chocolate 2 separate times, like fully shot the entire thing, went to edit it, and realized that it just wasn't good enough for you guys. I personally find tempering chocolate to be not the easiest thing in the world. I've done it a lot for work and I can do it. I did it in this video, but I think when the cameras are rolling, I don't know, I get really nervous or something, and I just felt like the videos that I had shot just weren't good enough for you guys. So I have some links down below for videos that will teach you how to temper chocolate if you want to, but it's not strictly necessary for this recipe. So just do whatever feels best for you.
So these have solidified nicely. That's what we're looking for here. The dipping is quite easy. I just one at a time. I'm holding the edges with my fingertips and I just go straight in and out and shake off the excess. Whoop. Gorgeous, just like that. And then you just go ahead and do that with all of them. And you are gonna get a little bit of chocolate on your fingers. That's okay. I mean, I personally hate it and it really bothers me, but you know, life is like that sometimes. It's also one of the good things with having this towel here. One, it protects the bowl from the cold of the marble. It doesn't cool down too quickly. And also, so that way I have something to wipe my fingers on. You really want to shake off that excess. There's like a lot. There we go. Oh my God, chocolate, I hate you so much. I know that like everyone loves to eat chocolate, but I would just like to say that I don't like working with chocolate, like at all, ever. It's so delicious. I love to eat it, so I put up with it. But like, oh my God, you guys. There we go. That's all of them. And now they're gonna go into the fridge again, just to harden and cool off and whatever, and we'll be able to eat them in like 20 minutes, half an hour. All right, so these guys have been chilling for around half an hour and they look so good. Oh my God. These are my favorite. These are so good. That nice crack of dark chocolate on top. The buttercream is so luscious and creamy and buttery. The almond cookie on the bottom is just the tiniest bit crispy today. But once I've left these in the fridge overnight, they will have absorbed just that little bit of moisture from the buttercream and they'll be like extra chewy and like soft. They are a little bit of a mess to make and a little bit of a mess to eat, but they are so worth it. Ridiculous. Ridiculously good. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully I will see you guys around next week. Hej då!